In the world of cinema, remakes can be a double-edged sword. They offer a chance to revisit beloved classics with a modern twist, but they also run the risk of falling flat and failing to capture the essence of the originals. While some remakes manage to breathe new life into their source material, others end up as missteps that tarnish the legacy of the films they aim to honor. In this list, we delve into the top 10 worst movie remakes ever made, films that missed the mark, disappointed fans, and left us questioning why they were ever made in the first place. Prepare for a journey through cinematic misfires that stand as cautionary tales in the world of movie remakes. So the 10th worst movie remake on our list is Around the World in 80 Days. Jules Verne's stories have been adapted into films for decades, often capturing the high adventure and excitement of his work. However, 2004's Around the World in 80 Days falls short of this legacy. It's a movie that exists, but that's about all it can claim. In fact, it was even nominated for a Razzie, and it bears little resemblance to Verne's original story. Compared to previous adaptations, especially the Oscar-winning 1956 version, this film doesn't even come close. While it's true that following in such big footsteps is a challenge, Around the World in 80 Days hardly made an effort. And the 9th worst movie remake is Psycho. Director Gus Van Sant's decision to release a shot-for-shot remake of Psycho in 1998 sparked some intense reactions. The question of why kept coming up, and honestly, we're still wondering why Psycho 1998 was made. Anne Hecher and Vince Vaughn were certainly willing to take on the roles made famous by Janet Leigh and Anthony Perkins. But the problem lies in Van Sant's attempt to meticulously replicate Alfred Hitchcock's original blocking and set pieces. This constant comparison only serves to highlight the superiority of Hitchcock's classic. So why bother with this version? And the 8th worst movie remake on our list is The Wicker Man. Neil LaBute's 2006 reimagining of Robin Hardy's classic The Wicker Man is undeniably a wild, baffling ride. Nicolas Cage's over-the-top performance, filled with shouting, screaming, and even running around in a bear suit, takes the film into absurd territory. But as a horror movie, it falls flat, completely missing the haunting atmosphere of the original and resorting to cheap jump scares. If you're looking for a true horror experience, stick with the 70s original. Save this remake for a bad movie night if you're in the mood for something unintentionally hilarious. And the 7th worst movie remake is Planet of the Apes. While 2011's Rise of the Planet of the Apes successfully revitalized this iconic franchise, things looked far less promising back in 2001. Tim Burton took a swing at a remake that ended up feeling downright strange. Mark Wahlberg was badly miscast in the lead role, as was model and athlete Estella Warren. Tim Roth delivered an over-the-top performance. The twist ending left fans scratching their heads, and the whole thing was just a mess. Not even Paul Giamatti or the impressive makeup work could salvage this film. And the 6th worst movie remake on our list is The Day the Earth Stood Still. Updating a classic film for a modern audience isn't inherently a bad idea. In fact, The Day the Earth Stood Still, 2008, had the potential to be a successful blend of old and new. The film did turn a profit, but it's crucial to strike the right balance between story and spectacle. Unfortunately, the filmmakers behind this remake seemed to miss that mark. The result is a movie that's big, loud, and visually impressive, ideal for IMAX viewing, but lacking in substance. What could have been a meaningful connection between sci-fi's past and present instead feels hollow, like consuming a meal that's all flash but leaves you unsatisfied. And the 5th worst movie remake is The Invasion. When does an idea become overdone? The Invasion offers a clear answer to that question as yet another reboot of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and easily the weakest one so far. The intense paranoia of the 70s version is absent, as is the subtle, looming dread of the original. Even the strange, unsettling vibe of Abel Ferrara's 1993 take is missing. Instead, the invasion comes off as lifeless and dull, which is unfortunate because the source material practically begs for a compelling adaptation. And the fourth worst movie remake on our list is Godzilla. The Godzilla franchise has been thankfully revitalized, with films like 2016 Shin Godzilla and the Monsterverse giving it a fresh start. But it almost came crashing down in 1998 when the king of the monsters fell into the hands of disaster movie director Roland Emmerich. Emmerich turned Godzilla into little more than a Jurassic Park knockoff, aiming for a summer blockbuster hit, complete with a forgettable tie-in song by Puff Daddy and Jimmy Page. The 1998 Godzilla was so poorly received that Japan eventually canonized the creature as Zilla, just to distinguish it from the real Godzilla. And our third worst movie remake is Dinner for Schmucks. Dinner for Schmucks had the potential to shine, especially given that its source material, 1998's Le Dîner de Cons, wasn't as widely known commercially. However, the remake squanders its talented cast with a big missed opportunity. Steve Carell's performance comes across as overly loud and exaggerated, despite the promising dynamic with Paul Rudd that hinted at something special. The plot, where an executive must bring an idiot to a cruel dinner, requires a delicate touch, but Dinner for Schmucks fails to find its balance. In the end, the film falls disappointingly flat. And the second worst movie remake is The Pink Panther. On paper, casting Steve Martin as Inspector Jacques Clouseau in a new Pink Panther film seemed like a brilliant idea, even with Peter Sellers having defined the role for so long. Unfortunately, both Martin and the 2006 The Pink Panther opted for easy laughs rather than aiming for the sophisticated comedy that made the original films so iconic. The humour is disappointingly lowbrow and does a disservice to Sellers' legacy. Yet, despite this, the film found enough of an audience to spawn an even more cringe-worthy sequel in 2009. And the last worst movie remake on our list is Rollerball. It's almost expected that when Hollywood remakes a film, the original's themes will be toned down for mass appeal. But the 2002 remake of Rollerball takes this to an entirely new level of stupidity. Norman Jewison's original film thrived on its sharp social commentary, exploring issues of class, money, power, and social hierarchy, with the sport of rollerball serving as a powerful metaphor. In contrast, the 2002 version abandons these deeper themes in favor of loud, mindless action, following the formula of so many generic blockbusters. The result is a film that's all noise and spectacle, with no brain behind it. So, is there a movie on our list of the 10 worst remakes that you actually like? Tell us in the comments, and for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.